Happy Mola Monday, everybody, and welcome to this week's Hall of Trials Dagger Sicar video. If you are looking for a week to bang out Kayron, this is the week. The conditions are extremely easy, so pop those re-gear tickets and get going. You need to have a mage as your damage dealer, and fire units do additional damage, so it is a great time to whip out Malim. Now, a dual attack with ML Lilias would be perfect if not for the fact that Kayron is immune to attack break. Now, the reason that's a problem is we run Malim on a rage set, so we need a debuff on him. It can be any debuff, but we need a debuff to trigger the rage set. Now, I'm running her on the Hall of Trials artifact for a 30% boost to damage. If you don't have that artifact, you can also run Caladra. Caladra, when fully leveled, is also a 30% boost to damage, but it's conditional on debuffs. He'll have debuffs most of the time, so that works. As an alternate, you can always use Symbol of Unity. It's only 20%, but it's unconditional. Now, ML Lilias is a trickier build. At first, I gave her 95% crit chance so she could do some additional damage, but she needs to be on an artifact that creates debuffs, since none of her debuffs will stick on Kayron. He's immune to attack break, and he's immune to provoke. So I use Cradle of Life, 76% chance to debuff, though he's immune to one of those debuffs, so it's like two 76% chances. You can run Junkyard Dog for a 50% chance to burn. And a note about indestructible gators. Maybe somebody can explain it to me in the comments section, but it appears this artifact is bugged. No matter what, you can't seem to stick a burn on him with gators in the break phase. I tried. Now, the original score I got, which you saw at the beginning of the video, 11.4 million, was with the original ML Lilias build. But I went ahead and sped her up just a little bit by changing her neck out. It took her crit chance away. And I did that because it helped with the speed RNG on the first round bosses, and it let me do something I wasn't able to do in the first run. I'll explain that in more detail here in a second, but basically it's some unnecessary speed tuning to min-max my score, and it is certainly not necessary. You don't need to be this fast, you just need to be fast. Also, I put Malim in front. That is really helpful in my opinion because she self-heals, so when she takes damage, that's kind of okay. Now I'm going to pause the video here to explain a couple things about the mechanics of round 1 and why I changed the gear out on my Lilias earlier on. So you see how Kayron has a defense buff. If you kill the bottom front mob, I think it can be any, but I know the bottom one always works. If you kill the bottom mob, that defense buff goes away and is replaced with an attack buff. Once you get just an attack buff, you should be able to S1 Kayron and one-shot him into the next phase. But that'll only be one debuff on Kayron, so you'll have to reapply the debuff inside of the break phase, and Malim's going to cut, so you basically lose one round of debuffed hits. This doesn't sound like a lot. All in all, it amounts to maybe a 200k difference in your final score. What I did is I changed the speed of my Lilias so that she would cut these mobs, so I could S1 Kayron, stick one debuff, cut, then I could S3 apply Vigor, and stick a second debuff. I make this look easy. I spent about an hour and a half trying to get the RNG so that I stuck both debuffs. Because if you have two debuffs on them, one will stay behind, and Malim's first attack gets to go into a debuff, so I get the rage set bonus, and I can S3 right at the start. Completely unnecessary if you're just going for Dagger Sicar. I just did it to min-max my score because I wanted a really high score. Now, the front row ads on the earlier phase do an attack break. If they hit Lilias, that's fine. She'll cycle that off. But if they hit an attack break Malim, just restart. You do not want to go into this fight with attack break on Malim, and you especially don't want to go into this fight with blind if Kayron goes and blinds her. As long as you can get into this round without blind and without attack down on Malim, you can progress the fight forward. Now, even though Vigor has worn off, it is more valuable to just use the S1. It's not worth wasting the turn to reapply Vigor. You only get about 30k more damage, not worth missing out on a 400k attack. Now this spot right here, sometimes it cheats you. Sometimes it doesn't give you this last attack, sometimes it does, and there seems to be no rhyme or reason to it. You get lucky or you don't. you get one extra attack off. I got 5.19 million going out of that first phase, mostly because of how I min-maxed this team. If you get anything above 3 million, you should be fine. Anything above 3.5 million, it'll be super easy. Now, you saw I killed the bottom mob. That got rid of the defense buff off Kayron. That makes him a little easier to kill. Malim did almost 30% of his attack in one shot. Now he's getting ready to do this S3 attack. You really want to try to push him out of this phase before that S3 attack goes. Now Dragon Buster going off here is a blessing. It'll kill the ads. The ads can stun in this phase, so you really want to get rid of them. And this lets me push phase without having to worry about that S3 going off and potentially killing a unit. Unfortunately, I don't have Vigor on Malim after she takes this turn, but that's okay. Again, it is not worth applying Vigor inside of the break phase. You just run without it. So Vigor is gone, but I'm still just going to S1. It's tempting to go for the 30% boost to attack, but the damage difference is not that big. It's about 25k difference at this point in the fight.
Obey if you wish to live. I'll make you taste despair.
And at about a 25k difference in damage, I think you'd have to hit roughly 11 or 12 times to make up losing the single S1 attack. And she hits a lot, but I didn't count, but I don't think she hits 11 times. So I just don't think the Vigor is worth it, especially since the Vigor will wear off again after she takes 2 turns. And she gets some Dragon Busters off. Whenever Malim's S3 is ready, you always want to use it. It will do more damage than her S1.
Feel my soul. Focus.
And I got the extra attack at the end there, which secures me a score of 11.1 million. Way above the Dagger Sicar threshold. Now, you gotta kill the ads in the front, or they will ruin you.
Come. I'll take your
because Malim's Dragon Buster is ready, I'm going to S3. That will strip off the anti-crit, and her Dragon Buster skill should wipe out all of the ads. So the timing on this was dead solid perfect. I didn't get a debuff, so I won't do extra damage to Kayron, but the Dragon Buster goes off, and because anti-crit is off of them, it wipes all of the mobs out. Kayron luckily uses his S3 into Malim, and when I say luckily, that's because Malim self-heals. So even with the attack down, she should self-heal all the way back up on this S1, which she does.
I'll take your life. Focus.
I could have used the S2 for a shield here, but I'm trying to burst him down as quickly as I can. Okay, and luckily he didn't hit the same unit twice, so both of my units survived. I do have a blind on Malim. I'm going to risk the S3, mostly to get Dragon Buster up and running again. I got the hit. If I can get a defense break on this S1, or not a defense break, but a debuff, I did. I got the debuff, that triggers Dragon Buster, and that clears the phase. So a couple of really lucky coincidences at the end. I hit through blind 3 times, and I triggered Dragon Buster at the exact right points. And that's what allowed me to have the score that I got. And I'm not going to lie, I did this for about 2 hours, trying to get this score to bang out. Just because, you know, this video may as well be called Waiting for the Stupid Artifact to Proc, because when you're relying on a 50 to 70% chance to proc artifact, you're going to get irritated. If you want to do this the easy way, if you're just looking for Dagger Sicar, try it with Cerise. Cerise is loaded with her debuffs. Her S3 has slow, which he's not immune to. You can use her S1 on a Song of Stars, so she can add target to it. She won't do quite as much damage as Lilias, simply because you've got downtime for her to do her S3, but you'll get to 8 million super easy with that. If you don't have Malim, you can use another mage like Spectre Tenebrion. Lifesteal would be great. You could use a rage set on Mercedes. There's lots of possibilities. I hope this video helps you bang out your Dagger Sicar score this week, and if you have any questions, ask them in the comments section, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a great one.